We begin 13 News at 5 with breaking news.
A police canine at the emergency vet right now, and the suspect accused of hurting them is in the hospital after a shooting with sheriff's deputies today. Let's get you up to speed. This all happened just about 2 hours ago in Martinsville.
That's where we find Jenna Webster live tonight with more. Jenna?
Residents at that time. Our officer responded, a deputy responded, and found that forced entry had been made into the residence, saw evidence of that. So he backed out, called for backup. Backup units did arrive along with our canine unit. So the responding units set up a safety perimeter around the house and started calling the person out inside the residence to come out, make themselves known, let them talk to them, see what's going on there. The person came to a doorway, stayed inside the doorway, and started yelling at the officers, screaming, and just making remarks to the officers, but would not continue to come out to the officers and talk to them. Also would not show their hands or show his hands. The officers asked him several times to show both their hands. So ultimately trying to get the person to come out, would not come out. Canine was there. The canine was sent in. As the canine started to go towards the person, he reached back behind him, grabbed a large blunt object and struck the canine over the head, rendering it unconscious, and then struck it at least 2 or 3 more times, and an officer fired on the subject. He was hit and went down. Officers immediately began medical attention to that person, and he was transported by air ambulance to a hospital in Indianapolis. His condition, I don't know right now. The canine was taken to a hospital in Indianapolis also to be checked out. Right now it's alert, up and moving, and we have a good prognosis, I think, with our canine, but it's going to have some x-rays and some further diagnosis.
Okay. Did the person didn't have a gun, as far as you know?
No, not that we know of, that did not have a gun. Like I said, it just struck the canine over the head, knocking it unconscious, and continued to strike it, so officers took that aggression.
Do you know what he hit him with?
I can't say exactly what it was, but they said it was a large, long blunt object, probably 3 or 4 feet long.
Okay. Are you releasing the name of the canine yet?
It's Bullet.
Okay. How many canines do you guys have?
We have 2 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just pretty standard for him to be sent in after somebody like that, or?
It can be, yes. It just depends on all the situation. Again, they were speaking with the subject. He would not comply. He would not show his hands. These dogs, they save officers' lives every day, and that's what we saw here. So I don't know if the subject was wanting an officer to come up there and receive the same treatment, and the canine unfortunately took the brunt of that, but saved our officers, and unfortunately got the brunt of his treatment, but hopefully he'll be all right.
Who called 911?
Person's name?
I don't even know it yet, Keith. Yeah, I haven't heard his name yet.
Who called 911, and how did the person know someone had broken in or anything?
It was a resident's owner, so I think they were watching the cameras on their house and saw that a camera had either been moved or saw someone in there, that they knew somebody had been in the residence.
Any relationship between the suspect and the homeowner? Did they just pick it randomly, or?
Yeah, I don't know if that is there any relationship at all. The homeowner had just arrived home within probably the last 20 minutes to speak to our detectives, so we'll be able to find out. But I don't even know his name yet to say whether that is.
Do you know roughly what time it happened and who that person was who was shot?
It was about 15 minutes after 1, and I don't know the person's name that was shot.
You're the suspect, so no critical, stable, nothing like that?
I don't know right now. Yeah, they were flown to either Methodist or Eskenazi.
Were they just shot once?
That I can't tell you that either. I don't know.
Do your deputies wear body cameras?
They do, yep.
Was they rolling?
Yep.
Have you reviewed that footage?
I have not, no.
Are those deputies on administrative leave now?
Yeah, they're on administrative leave, exactly.
Did just one deputy fire their gun, or?
And I don't know that yet either.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Who's the handler of the dog?
Deputy Tolan.
Tolan?
What do you think goes through deputies' minds? You know, we talk about how important these canines are to your officers, but, you know, when they see their canine being treated like that, what's, you know, a thought process there?
Well, it's one of your officers going down. It's one of your own. And that was very evident today because once that happened, one of the other officers picked it up and ran probably a 1/10 of a mile up a hill that I was winded walking up today to get it to a car so they could self-transport that to the emergency care. So it's one of your own.
And can I just be clear with something? There were no gun found with that person, right?
No.
And then also, just to be clear, that person, that individual went to that actual home, so he broke in, or how does that work? Or did he
There
live
was,
in that home?
what I can tell you on that is that there was evidence of intrusion, that somebody had used physical force to get inside the home, and that we told that there was not supposed to be anybody inside the house.
And that was the person who intruded in the house who was hitting the dog.
Yes, I'm assuming yes.
It's a pretty remote area. Is that pretty rare for that kind of out there? or-
It is very remote out there. I'm sure you were out there. It's a one-lane, pretty much road by itself at the end of a dead-end lane there. So the relationship there, how that was picked out, is something that I'm interested to see how that comes out in the investigation.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Sheriff?
No, I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all.
Just heard there.
So, and Felicia, you just heard we got some more details kind of about this incident that all unfolded around 1:30 today. We just learned that the canine's name, Bullet, was hit over the head about 2 or 3 times with a blunt force object. Still waiting to learn what that object was that the suspect used to hit the canine. Again, the suspect was allegedly breaking into a home. The homeowner called 911. They called the Morgan County Sheriff's Department. That when officers arrived, that alleged suspect did come out into the doorway and was not compliant with officers when they began hitting the canine over the head 2 or 3 times. We're going to work to get some more updates on the suspect's condition. We do know that they were taken by Lifeline to an Indianapolis area hospital. Still waiting to get those updates. Hopefully we'll have some more information, guys, at 6 o'clock. And Felicia.
All right. Jenna Webster reporting live for us tonight in Morgan County. Thank you so much. Of course, this is a rural area, and we were hearing there from the Sheriff Richard Myers talking, obviously shook up. You know?
Yeah, they really treat this canine officer like an actual officer. So it makes sense that they would have that kind of connection and working relationship, and that he would certainly be impacted by this story. And it explains the officer's response in terms of firing, returning fire among the suspect.
Maybe
Returning fire
not
on the
returning fire, because it hasn't been confirmed if the suspect had a gun yet or not, but the suspect.
Correct.
But we do know that there is
In retaliation, I guess I should say.
in
Hitting in response to them hitting the dog,
Right,
hitting
right.
the canine.
So we do know that there is someone who is a suspected burglar who was taken via a medical helicopter for treatment here in Indianapolis. We do have level 1 trauma centers to care for that. The canine, the dog, also getting care. And as we learn more, as Jenna's working on the scene, we'll bring it to you.
All right, on to more news now. Another big story we're following tonight. The state Senate is taking on the redistricting debate.
Right now, Hoosiers are testifying before senators, letting them know why they're either for or against the bill that would create new congressional districts here in Indiana. Emily Longnecker has been listening to their testimony in the Senate for hours and now joins us with the latest developments today from the State House.
Emily?
Yeah, and Felicia, there's been about 3.5 hours of testimony. As you said, some Hoosiers for redistricting, some against. More than a dozen on each side have voiced their opinions. 127 people signed up to testify in there. Some didn't make it on the list, and so they have been voicing their thoughts out here outside the chamber. The majority of folks that have been out here with signs, though, have been against it. The reasons on each side of the redistricting argument have varied. Some who support it say Indiana needs to redraw the maps to counter how the maps have been drawn in Democratic states. The other side calls it cheating and a way for Republicans to hold on to power in the House in the 2026 midterm elections. It's going to come down to what senators decide, first on the Elections Committee, and then if lawmakers there vote to pass it on, ultimately the full Senate will vote on it. This comes after more than 4 months of debate and mounting pressure from Washington and Governor Braun to pass redistricting, with the promise to support primary challenges to Republican lawmakers who don't. At least 10 lawmakers in the Senate have also faced various threats and intimidation in the past month. IU political science professor Paul Helmke says even with all of that in the mix, he's still not sure what the Senate will decide.
Sometimes when the pressure is too public, if anything, you get an opposite reaction. People don't want to look, elected officials don't want to look like they're caving to the pressure. And so if there's maybe too much of this, it might get the opposite result. Sometimes pressure works better when it's behind the scenes and silence. So I'm not sure that some of the tactics that are being used here are going to be effective.
The Constitution doesn't explicitly forbid
And, that remains to be seen. Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray has said for the past month that his caucus just did not have the votes to pass redistricting. And then today he had a little bit of a different tone, saying that we are going to see on Thursday, we're all going to learn together if the votes are there. I also talked to Republican Senator Mike Young earlier today. He supports redistricting, and he told me this afternoon that he has been having some conversations with lawmakers who have been on the fence too. In his words, there's a lot of persuasion going on, is what he said. Meantime, Senate Democrats, they started the day out talking about what they want to focus on in this legislative session, and they said a lot of their priorities focus around affordability for utilities, affordability for health care, child care, those sort of things. And so they said that they would be centered around that this session, and that no one really wanted to talk about redistricting, is what they said. Of course, they are talking about redistricting today. That is what is going on right now here in the Senate chamber. After testimony wraps up, and we're expecting that to wrap up at about 6 o'clock, Democrats on the Senate Election Committee, they are going to be offering amendments to be heard. Right now we know that there are 4 amendments that they want to present here to the Elections Committee. House Democrats did that last week. They were on their committee, their Elections and Apportionment Committee, and they had a whole bunch of amendments that they offered last week. Every single one of them last week got voted down. So we'll see what happens here tonight in the Senate with Senate Democrat amendments. Anne Marie, Felicia, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Very vocal people there behind you. Emily Longnecker reporting live tonight. And we're keeping Emily there at the State House as developments that come in from the Senate tonight. And as they vote, we'll have those for you on air and online. Just go to WTHR.com/redistricting. Angela.
Anne-Marie, nice to have some sunshine today. Another cold one with temperatures between 25 and 30 degrees. We have 28 Carmel and Bainbridge, 31 Greensburg, and 28 degrees in Bunker Hill. As you can see behind me, a nice sunset underway, all thanks to some much needed sunshine today. Coming downtown, our Pacers taking on the Kings. Early evening numbers in the upper 20s, close to 30 for that 7 p.m. tip. But under the clear skies, temperatures will drop quickly into the teens and 20s by late evening. Early tomorrow morning, temperatures start to climb just before sunrise. We're at 30. You'll need the heavy coat at the bus stop or headed out the door early, but might be able to shed a layer or two. Upper 30s and low 40s for highs tomorrow. That's as warm as it gets ahead of another front that will bring us rain to snow chances Tuesday night into Wednesday.